Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of DFV into the new year. I am Black Cinephile.
I am AKA Brad.
That is AKA Brad, and we are coming to you in the year of 2023 to give you our top 10 best films of 2022.
Yeah, 2022 ended up being a pretty big year for movies, and a lot of it's crazy when we do these because looking back at like all the movies that came out back in like January, February, and March and everything like that, it's like, oh yeah, that was a movie that came out this year. That was something that
It's always stressful during this time because you forget movies that you watched all the way back in January, like you said, and you go like, wow, that didn't feel like a 2022 movie. Like
Yeah.
in the back of my mind, I'm thinking Batman is 2021, like the Batman.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, oh no, that was top of the year.
Yeah, I had the same thing with when I was going through the list, and I was like, Top Gun Maverick was this year? Wait, no, what?
Right.
Wait, that was this year.
Dude, that's what a pandemic does to you. An extended pandemic does to you. Like, because Top Gun was like the film to bring back cinema. You know what I mean? It's not in my top 10, but I would say if we were to talk top 20s, it probably would be up there. It'd probably be in top 20. It was a very good movie, but that was such a big event that I kind of remember it for this year. But like it feels like there's like before Top Gun Maverick and after Top Gun Maverick.
Right. There is no longer years. There is just pre Top Gun Maverick and post Top Gun Maverick.
For sure. Not a bad year, man. Not a bad year at all, actually.
No, this year, I was actually fumbling with a couple that was like, okay, this is going to be in the top 10. Nope, that's bumping down to 12. Now it's down to 15. Okay, well, I guess that one's not making the list anymore.
Yeah, man, on my Letterbox account, and for those of you if you want to follow it, my Letterbox is Black Cinephile, all one word. Yeah, I put together my top 12. We're doing top 10 today, but I put together my top 12 because there was just some movies I just could not leave off the list. I just made an extra two numbers for.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was an exciting year for cinema. We had some good ones this year, man.
Oh yeah. So, do you want to jump into it with your pick for number 10?
All right, sure. For number 10, I have Pearl, directed by T. West, starring the amazing Mia Goth. This is a horror film, a horror prequel to the film X, which came out in the same year. So
yeah, that was another thing that surprised me. I forgot X and Pearl both came out this year.
Oh yeah. T. West was doing his thing. Like that was a great daring move to have both of those films come out in the same year, and I think he crushed it. This film right here, this serves as a prequel to the film X, and the main character is the antagonist in X. Her name is Pearl. So this goes back to when Pearl's an old woman in X. So this film goes back to when she was a younger woman. Again, played by Mia Goth. And so Pearl basically plays a lonely woman trapped on her family's isolated farms with dreams of becoming an actress. As the film goes on, her mind, she's already not like psychologically right in the head. She's already a little mentally disturbed. But as the film goes on and more things start to happen that don't really go her way, she becomes more and more unhinged. Dude, I gotta say, coupled with T. West direction and his kind of like homage to Wizard of Oz and like the beautiful cinematography in this film, dude, it's Mia Goth's like layered, unhinged performance that really gives this film its just due. Like, have you seen this yet?
I haven't seen it, but I also haven't seen X yet either. They're both movies that are on my list, but they keep getting pushed down with new movies releasing.
I wouldn't say it's necessary to see X to see Pearl, but it's good viewing. You're clued into some things watching Pearl after seeing X, but I'd say Pearl is necessary viewing, man. I mean,
Okay.
this is great horror cinema. You have a great lead performance that made Mia Goth a Best Actress front runner. Well, not front runner, but she's in the conversation. Terrific film, man. I give it it's a straight 4 out of 5 to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So starting off the with number 10 on my list, has to come in with Dragon Ball Super Superhero. It's
Okay.
it's still amazing to me that we're getting new Dragon Ball content in the year 2022
It's been around a
because
while.
yeah, I remember growing up in the 90s with Dragon Ball, and when it ended in, I think 98 is when it started closing out here in the US. It was kind of a, oh, that's it. That's the end of Dragon Ball Z. We're not going to see anything else. And then it was out of nowhere in 2013 they kind of brought up a new movie, and then another movie, and then we got a new series. And the fact that it's still going now is absolutely insane, and it's going on a high streak too, because
Mhm.
with the previous movie, Dragon Ball Super Broly, we got a lot of great action in this one. And then in Superhero, they basically took in Loud Piccolo and Gohan to have front and center of the story, two characters that generally are pushed to the side in most kind of stories that go on in this universe.
Mhm.
And we get to see them actually be the main focus. And it brings a lot of the cartoonish fun of Dragon Ball back. We get to see the androids kind of have a return. There's a lot of good comedy, a lot of good action, a lot of great. Even the new characters that are introduced in this one are great. And yeah, it definitely made the list.
Awesome. So the number one question I have, as somebody that still hasn't gotten into Dragon Ball Z, uh, please don't take away my childhood card. I hear it all the time. Like, man, you never watched Dragon Ball Z. You watched Samurai Jack, but not that. I just never came across my radar. I'm sorry. Um, can I still enjoy the film even though I haven't watched the series?
I think you would get some enjoyment out of the film. There's a lot of references and things that you probably wouldn't understand. So there'd
Okay.
be like moments where, the movie would pause to be like that, like clap or funny moment. You'd just be sitting there like, I don't get it.
Right,
It would
right,
be kind
right.
of like watching the new Star Trek when, he reveals that he's Kang, and then there's silence for a solid like minute because everybody in the theater would be going, "Oh my god, I can't believe it's him," and you're just sitting there going, who is that?
Right, right. Okay. Okay. So, all right, I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind for later. I do plan on watching the show. Like I toggle between starting off with regular Z and watching Kai. Everyone tells me, "No, you got to start with Z instead of watching Kai."
I'm gonna disagree with that. You got to go to Kai because Dragon Ball
Straight to
Z
Kai.
has a lot of filler and
Filler.
everything, and Kai does a good job of trying to cut that down. There is still some filler in Kai, but it's
Hmm.
not as heavy as Dragon Ball Z, especially in the first couple sagas leading up to the end of the Cell saga.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, my number nine, and this is a film I joined late to the party, but I'm so glad I joined when I did towards the end of the year. RRR. Man, let me tell you about this movie, dude. So this is a Tollywood film, distributed on Netflix in the United States, directed by S.S. Rajamouli. Now, I never watched a Tollywood film or a Bollywood film before, but I know that they have just like uh, great set direction. There's great choreography with the action scenes are insane.
Mhm.
And this movie is amazing, dude. So basically, the broad synopsis of this film is it's a fictional history of these two legendary revolutionaries, and it's about their journey away from home before they began fighting for their country in the 1920s. There's a very layered story here that if you like so there's a prologue and then there's the introduction of both of these two legendary revolutionaries and how their paths intercede in, I gotta say, in a more friendly face-off type of way, because they're enemies, but because they're undercover they don't know they're each other's enemies.
Mhm.
They both have a similar goal for different reasons. And oh man, the battle sequences, the musical number sequences. There's not even a lot of musical number sequences, but like the main song that belongs to this film, I think it's called Nanny Nanny. I may get the name mixed up, but I think it's going for best original song. If not, I think it was like in the running for it. Dude, it's such a great movie, dude. It's so Natu. Sorry. Yeah, it's such a great movie, dude. So fun, action packed. If you have 3 hours of your time, I would say watch this, man, and you won't regret it. If you're a person that's against subtitles, and if you have Netflix, you could turn on the English dub option. But I think you would enjoy it either way. I love this movie, man. This is a 4.5 to me.
Yeah, that is one that I actually had somebody give me access to their Netflix account because they were like, "You need to watch this movie," and I have
Man,
still
I'm telling
proceeded
you.
to not watch it.
Hey, you know what? I even if you get a free trial or use one of your friends, because you know password sharing is ending this
I
year for
know that
Netflix.
they made that announcement that they're cutting ties with that, which I think is going to lead to more people canceling than more people signing
Oh,
up.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That was a staple of Netflix. Like, man, let me use your account. Ah, man,
Yeah,
here you go. Here's the password. Then you see 20 different people under your profile under your
right. Yeah.
account. Those were good times. Those were good times. But I say, listen, man, if you can swing it and you get access to it, great film. Seriously.
Yeah, I heard great things about it, but it's the fact that it's got a 3 hour runtime and everything, and it being a, 'cause I would not watch the dub. I would watch it
Mhm.
with the subtitles, which means that it's a 3 hour focused film. There's no kind of getting distracted by something else and kind of listening to it a little bit in the background.
It goes
It's
by fast.
Does it go by fast?
It's very fast paced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I definitely it's on my list. I know a lot of people have been trying to tell me that I gotta watch it. It's just every time it's up in the forefront, it's like, oh, okay, 3 hour movie, subtitles. Okay, do I have 3 hours I can set aside today to watch this movie? Let's see.
Yeah.
But with me, that brings my number 9 pick, which is a recent movie, Violent Night.
Nice.
We have a raged Santa Claus going crazy on a terrorist organization that's invading his family house. Uh, Absolutely a fun movie. I absolutely love that they kind of did this like violent Santa Claus kind of movie where he's sick and tired of the status quo of everything. He's very grumpy. He doesn't really, have that Christmas joy at all whatsoever. He's kind of more of a
Mhm.
store-bought cookies. Great, thanks. Here's your goddamn gift and moving on. And it's a fun way of doing it. It does have some of the cliches that most Christmas movies have. It still does have kind of a little bit of an issue with pacing, but overall, it's such a fun movie. And it's one of those comedies that as I'm watching it, it's like, this was made for me. This is just a movie made for me. I don't care if other people like it or not. This
Mm.
movie is 100% up my alley.
Yeah, I've heard great things about that one. Like, it's been on my radar for a while. I do like David Harbour. I
Mhm.
heard he's terrific in it.
Oh, he
Um,
is one of the best parts of the movie easily.
so it's kind of like, from what I've heard, it's a Santa Claus Die Hard, pretty much.
Yeah, that would be a good way to describe it. Yes.
Okay, so more formulaic than Nobody or less formulaic?
Um, I would say a little bit less formulaic.
Okay, because that's what I was worried about. Because even though I like Bob Odenkirk, Nobody didn't really leave an impression on me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it besides going, oh yeah, it was that Bob Odenkirk kind of John Wick movie made by the same studio as John Wick. And then it's
Right,
like, but
right.
John Wick was really good.
Right. Yeah, but that John Wick though, that's
Yeah.
kind of like this consensus with Nobody. All right, man. I'm gonna keep that in mind. That was a film that was on my radar for a while, and it did look fun.
It's
Um,
such a fun movie. It might not be the best like for cinematography or anything like that, but when it comes to the
right.
laughs, it comes to the fun, the violence of everything, it's great. It also makes fun of Home Alone, which is a movie that I do not like. So any movie that makes fun of it automatically gets points from me.
That's one thing you and I never clicked on. Home Alone is my jam.
Oh,
I don't see how any person born in the 90s could hate on that movie, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, man. Moving on. My number 8 film here is another Netflix film, All Quiet on the Western Front. Dude, terrific war movie, man. I like war films, but I like war films that keep me captivated. If there's no captivation or keeping me involved, and there's no realism, I don't know if I'm really gonna stick with it. But what we have here is a remake film directed by Edward Berger. It's a German language film, by the way, and it's about around the end of World War One, and it follows like this life of an idealistic young soldier named Paul. Now, as he enlists in the German army, he learns real quick and fast the realities of war. See, to him and his buddies, his classmates, it's an honor to serve in the army. You know, like they're excited, they're smiling from ear to ear, and then they face the realities and learn that, you know, war is and will always be hell. Dude, terrific visuals, great gory sequences, great moments of emotion. The lead actor Felix Kammerer, I think this is a great breakthrough performance on his front. On his front. Terrific, man. The film lets its stance on war be known, and it's very respective of the soldiers and what they had to do, and it's very critical of the forces behind why they were put in this situation, and fed into the propaganda that war is something you should be proud of serving for, or, you know, you should be proud of serving for your country, but you shouldn't be proud of the things you shouldn't be proud of the things they make you do to serve your country. You know what I mean?
You should be proud that you got to serve your country and be able to protect your country, not necessarily the things you did in order to achieve that goal.
Yeah, or the institutions and the rules in place that made you do the things you had to do. I think it's very respectful to soldiers. It's very respectful to the war. Terrific film, man. I give it a 4 out of 5. If you have time to watch this, great cinematography, great long shots. It's just a wonderful it's a wonderful war downer, because it is a downer, but it's a downer with style.
Okay. Fair. So my number 8 pick here is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Nice.
It goes needless to say that as a Nicolas Cage fan, we just talked about 2 movies in the last episode with Face Off and another movie that exists that he was in, but we were huge fans of it. And so when it comes to a movie that is literally an homage to the entire backlog of Nicolas Cage, it goes to show how much love and support was put into this movie. And the fact that it was made before Nicolas Cage even signed on to it, where they kind of had it written and went, hey, how would you be interested in doing this kind of movie? Is absolutely such a baller move of, we're going to write this entire movie around you. We're going to get it approved for a budget and everything. Then we're going to approach the lead of the movie to be in it.
Hey man, how could he say no? You know what I'm saying? It's the man, it's the myth, it's the bees. How could he say no? How could he say no?
Apparently he was apprehensive about it at first because he thought that it was just too on the nose, and I can't remember what convinced him to go with it overall, but I'm glad he did.
I heard in the interview was the opposite. He told the director or something. He says, I don't really act like this. He's like, I know, but it's funny. And he was like, all right, whatever you want. I heard it was the opposite, actually.
Well, when he first got the script and he was told, hey, it's a movie about you being you as an actor, he was like, that's a little on the nose, don't you think?
Oh, okay.
But then you have the villain played by Pedro Pascal, and everything about this movie clicks. It's a lot of fun for people that are fans of Nicolas Cage. Everything's there that you want to see in that movie. References to basically every movie. They even, kind of joke about the fact that Paddington 2 is too good of a movie than it deserves to be.
Too good. Too good for its own good.
Too good for its own good. But yeah, so that one, it easily made the list. And it was actually one that I forgot came out this year until I was going through the backlog of movies for this list. And I was like, oh yeah, that was this year, wasn't it?
I forgot about that movie too, to be honest, until you mentioned it. That feels like such a 2021 movie.
I know it didn't feel like it was something in 22, but yeah, it came out in April of 22. So pretty early on.
Nice. All right, awesome. What I got for my number 7, the one and only Nope. So we got Nope, directed by Jordan Peele, coming off his third film. Pretty much 3 for 0 or 2 for 1 at this point, depending on if you like Us. Great third feature. So what we got is an estranged brother and sister dealing with the trauma of losing their father, and they come across a strange, seemingly extraterrestrial discovery on their California ranch, where their horses are used for Hollywood productions. Great film, man. I mean, you and I, we've talked about it.
Mhm.
I love how it deals with trauma, exploitation, trauma, grief, and it. The thing about Jordan Peele is, like, I like how he's kind of moved on from social horror, and now he's just figured out the different things he can do with horror. He's moving on to different themes.
He's having a little bit more fun with it, and it's not so
Yes.
much the horror. The horror is no longer the crutch for the movies. It's
Right.
now just the genre that everything seems to be playing into.
Right. You got social horror with Get Out, and then with Us, you still got social horror, but it leaned more into like actual horror. And with this one, you got more of a Spielberg influence on this, but it's playing around with that a little bit. I think he's one of the most innovative, creative, mainstream directors out here right now. I love what he's doing. Yeah, man, I gave Nope. I think it was a 4.5 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5. But yeah, dude, I just love this movie, dude. The whole Gordy, the Gordy's the Gordy sequence in Nope is a masterclass in horror, and like in showing the audience, giving the audience a chance to go into their imagination of the horror that's happening off screen. Great sound design, terrific.
Yeah, it's actually a perfect example of you don't need to show, you just need to like create the atmosphere of something to bring the horror and the tension into the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with my number 7 pick, another one that we actually did an episode on was Belle, the animated G-Kids movie that basically was a modern day Beauty and the Beast taking place in a world of virtual reality. And the movie itself is absolutely gorgeous to every extent of the word when it comes to animation. It has some great songs and musical pieces in it. The story is a really good take on Beauty and the Beast. It does kind of get held back at certain points, and the adults do have, the brain dead syndrome of, yeah, we're just adults in the movie. We don't really have any responsibilities whatsoever. But aside from all that, everything on this movie clicks very well. The characters are really well done. Even her friends are kind of given a little bit of backstory and a characterization that makes them feel unique. Really well done movie. And for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, I highly recommend it, especially for anime fans that happen to miss it. I remember seeing this one in IMAX, and then later I watched it again on home video, and it's absolutely fantastic still.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous film. It's very gorgeous to look at, even when it may be held back a little bit by its story. You're not looking at anything that's ugly here. Every frame is gorgeous.
Yeah, even with it being held back by it needing to be a Beauty and the Beast kind of movie, it manages to go beyond that a little bit and exceed expectations, even with that one downside.
Absolutely. All right, man. Going to my number 6 on the list, I got The Batman. Boy, let me tell you about this, man. Director Matt Reeves, man. Let me tell you, man. Everybody doubted it. Everybody made the Twilight jokes. Everybody said, "There's no way this guy is gonna kill as Batman. Stop it, Robert Pattinson. Stop it." These are people that didn't watch Good Time, ignored The Lighthouse, and still had the gall to say this man wasn't gonna crush it. We knew Matt Reeves could do it, but we didn't know. But people didn't know about Pattinson. This guy, he knocked it out the park as Batman. This film knocks it out the park of showing Batman in his second year of fighting crime. So basically, like Batman Year Two, if you read the Year One comic, and it takes Batman to his roots, his comic book roots as a detective, as he's trying to figure out who is this Riddler guy, while also figuring out something else about this this other fellow that's connected to him meeting Catwoman and working alongside Catwoman. Dude, it's just a terrific film. Great special effects, great direction, great cinematography. The music score is awesome. One of the best freeway chase sequences I've ever seen in my life. Colin Farrell is unrecognizable and terrific as the Penguin. I mean, this film just has it all to me, man. This was a straight 4.5 and deserves its spot in my top 10.
Yeah,
it was a 5. Yeah,
that movie was fighting an uphill battle because not only was it going up as a new Batman when everything with Ben Affleck was just kind of starting to close out, and that didn't even have like a very good closeout to it. Then it's preceded by the Dark Knight trilogy, which is seen as one of the best superhero trilogies to exist in all of cinema. So to come out the gate and be like, we're going to come back and make a new Batman, and it's going to feature Robert Pattinson, and it's going to be 3 hours long. It's like, this is an uphill battle from the start, but that movie knocked it out on all cylinders.
Absolutely, man. Terrific time at the movies. I loved it. I wanted to see it at that special IMAX they do at the science centers and stuff, where it's all around you, the dome. I didn't catch that in time though.
Yeah, there's only a couple movies that actually utilize that fully, and I think that was one that had the full like side vision for the entire movie too, didn't it?
I believe so. It might have.
Yeah. I've never actually gotten a chance to see a movie in that. I've only seen like the made for those kind of theater movies, like the ones that are like the documentaries on like, here's space and, here's the Titanic and stuff. I remember seeing those ones back during like field trips and everything. But I've never seen an actual movie that was like presented to be in that kind of aspect ratio like that.
There was this one great 3D movie that kept being promoted, and it had the Simpsons and it has the characters from Ants in it. You know what movie I'm talking about?
No.
They used to promote it. They used to play it at the Science Center in the IMAX, but I forgot what the movie was. But yeah.
But yeah, one of those made for that kind of screen movies,
Got you.
Yeah. So with me and my number 6 pick, that one goes to Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This one, it was beautifully animated. It held a stronger relation to the original Pinocchio story. We had an amazing cast on it. The voice work, the animation, everything for this movie lined up perfectly, and I don't think there's anybody besides Guillermo del Toro that could have made this movie by following the very dark script of Pinocchio, the original story, and bringing it to a more, I guess, family-friendly outlook, because the original story features a lot of death, a lot of war. It features the fear of, mortality, the fear of losing people. It's a very heart-wrenching story, and one that's very hard to like bring to a kind of family outset. And Guillermo del Toro absolutely knocked it out of the park and made what is probably the best animated or even live action movie featuring the story of Pinocchio, in my opinion.
I gotta revisit the old one to give that to give that determination, but I will say it was very unique and very beautiful to watch. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that one it was very easily on the list.
Okay, gotcha. All right, on to the top 5. Drum roll. All right, man. For number 5, I have Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. It's a handful of words. This is the newest film directed by Alejandro Inarritu, the director of Birdman, The Revenant, and Babel, as well as a few other films. So this film follows the main character called Silverio. He's a Mexican journalist turned Mexican documentarian, so documentary filmmaker, and it basically follows his life throughout his career within his middle age. It follows him, alongside his wife and his family, dealing with him and his wife, their newborn babies, untimely death at a newborn age, and how they deal with that grief within their family of their teenage son and daughter. And it just follows him and how conflicted he is about his homeland of Mexico, how he loves it so much, but when he's living in the United States, he criticizes his homeland. He has a very complicated love of his homeland. Mm-hmm. The whole film is filmed in a dreamlike, surreal manner. It kind of ties into why the film is called Bardo, and that kind of ties in the end with this emotional twist. Dude, terrific film, man. I feel like when I saw The Revenant, when I saw Inarritu come back from Birdman, which I think is an excellent movie, and go to The Revenant is cool. I like Leo in it and everything, but I just thought it was just all right. Like it's mm-hmm. fun to watch, but I feel like this film brings Inarritu back to his roots of like surreal, beautiful filmmaking. I love this film. Del Toro hit the mark when he said this film is amazing, and I don't think he was wrong about that at all. This is a Netflix film, and kind of long too, but I feel like this is just a great dreamlike film to watch. I loved it. I loved the themes in it. I loved how seeing a film like this, even though it's existential in nature, it makes you appreciate life mm-hmm. by the time it ends. And I give this a 4.5 out of 5. I loved it.
Yeah, that's the first one that I don't even think that hit my radar at all for that movie. But the fact that it's on Netflix kind of makes sense because I don't have a Netflix subscription. So
I got you.
When it comes to that, it's either I happen to be at somebody's house and they're like, hey, you should check this out. Or somebody just goes, hey, no, watch this. Here's my account. Watch it now.
Right. Got you. I got you.
So yeah, that one, I'm going to have to write that one down to check out later if I get a chance. Right next to RRR.
Oh yeah, man. RRR is that one.
Yep. So my number 5 was basically we've kind of already discussed it a little bit, but it was the movie that made everything feel like you need to come back to the cinema with Top Gun Maverick. That movie is just so well shot, so well done. It brings tension and focus to the movie where you feel basically so compact in the cockpit of these, jets and planes and everything like that. But yet those sprawling shots where you're seeing them weave through the forest, going through the air, trying to dodge, missiles mid-air. Everything from the training sequences that they have at the beginning to the actual dogfights that they have in it, and then missions that they go through. Everything, you're on the edge of your seat, and you can tell the characters are having fun with it during a lot of the scenes. Mm-hmm. The actors are all on board. I mean, Tom Cruise is just at his peak.
He never fails.
This movie. Yeah, it's
even if the movie fails, he doesn't fail.
Right. He was absolutely on for this one. And yeah, like we kind of mentioned before, this movie was delayed with good reason. It needed to be in a theater that you watch this one, because watching this, I'm not going to say watching this any other way is an injustice to the film, but if it comes out in theaters and you haven't seen it in a theater, catch it. IMAX, Dolby, whatever version there is of the big screen with the good sound, you need to see it because it
What is
holds up.
IMAX? What's IMAX?
That is Imagine's version of IMAX because they refused to license out the rights to use IMAX.
All right, carry on. I don't. Come on,
Yeah.
come on, just carry on. I thought they had D-Box. They got an IMAX now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is also D-Box. That's the one where you have like the motion chairs or the rumble seats. Yeah, I forgot that they even had that.
And they sprinkle mist on you when it's rain.
Yep. I remember. Yeah, the 4D experience.
Right. Yeah, man, dude, Top Gun Maverick was so good. I did not expect that film to be as good and as successful as it was.
Yeah, that was another thing is it came out as a new Top Gun, and I'll be honest, I don't have any cling to the Top Gun movies. They're good, but I wasn't looking at
just
this.
One. Yeah, it was just one before this, but yeah.
Right. But at the same time, I wasn't like looking at this and going, "Oh my God, it's another Top Gun. This is going to be amazing." Right. And then watching this one, it's just like, yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic movie. And it's I don't even want to say that it's riding so much on Tom Cruise, but he is easily one of the highlights of this movie. And absolutely. Even when it comes to the cinematography of this movie, if those two things weren't done right, this movie would have been a colossal failure. But Tom Cruise pulled it through. The cinematography absolutely nailed it. And so, yeah, this movie is easily top 5 to me when it comes to movies of 2022.
Mm-hmm. All right, sounds good, man. Awesome. Yeah, I really like Top Gun Maverick. I felt like it was the big film that could. I'm not gonna say it's the little film that could. It was the big film that could. Because part of me was like, Tom Cruise single-handedly gonna save cinema. You know, I was like, all right, let's see. But he had butts and seats, man. And this was before Avatar 2.
Yeah, I mean, this had a box office of 1.5 billion, just about.
This film crawled so Avatar 2 could walk.
Right, yeah.
That's exactly what happened here. All right, man. Awesome. I'm gonna move on to my fourth pick, which hasn't been released countrywide yet, or I want to say it hasn't been released. It hasn't had a wide release yet, but it's been released in select cinemas. Women Talking. Man, when this film comes your way in January, folks, please go see this. This is written and directed by Sarah Polley. This is a great chamber piece of a film that's inspired by real life events that occurred at the Manitoba colony in Bolivia. So this is a film where a group of women in a very male dominated community. I'm not gonna say Amish, but it's like when you think of that, you do think of the Amish. But this is a male dominated community where a bunch of women get together and discuss sexual assault events that have been happening in the countryside community. And basically the elders of the men who capture the men who have done these events, they give these women a choice. They say, get together, learn how to forgive these men and live with them, or leave. So these women get together, the elders, I want to say, and about 2 teenagers get together in a room and discuss what they're going to do. And it really boils down to 3 options. You take the option to do nothing and forgive, which none of the women agree with. Mm-hmm. You stay and fight, or you leave. And the rest of the film is just a terrific dialogue, great performance-driven piece. Which you got great stars here, man. You got Rooney Mara, you got Claire Foy, you got Jessie Buckley, you got Judith Ivey, Ben Winshaw, who plays Paddington. He is the man that's taking the minutes of the meeting, and he has some great performance work in this film. For a film that has a lot of dialogue, there is no boring moment in this movie. I mean, it's just a terrifically directed film with great direction, great writing, great pacing, and very thought-provoking and very emotional. I loved it, man. I gave it a 5 out of 5 when I saw it, and when it comes your way, I can't wait for you to see it if you want to talk about it. But yeah.
I intend to kind of throw an episode together for that one once it has a wider release, because I think that one's really only playing at one theater around here, and it'd be a drive for me to get out to see that one at 3 p.m. on like a Wednesday.
So you've heard of this movie?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'd say the hype is real, man. I loved it. Check it out.
Yep. Okay. So my number 4 pick is one that already was previously on your list. Nope.
Nice.
Basically everything that you said about this movie, and the fact that it brought out a different kind of, not so much a horror where you would expect, but a horror in theory, by kind of giving you these horrific ideas and thoughts of like what could be happening, like a chimpanzee breaking bones and snapping it with his teeth as you can hear the blood and everything dripping on the floor. And the moment where you have the alien kind of absorb everybody and it's digesting them, and you're getting that slow motion of seeing it. And it's a very tense movie that has some good payoff and everything. And a theme that I could see a lot of people kind of passing off and not understanding. But for people that have kind of been going, I'm not a fan of social media and what it's turning people into with this whole drive to be famous and stuff. It's like, this movie is making fun of those people. And it's absolutely fantastic. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's, I don't know what else to say about it that we haven't already said, both in the episode that we did on it and when you spoke about it earlier.
I would argue Nope is even for the people that see horror trailers and go, nope, nope. And it's for them too. Like it's even for the ones that are like scared to watch horror films, and for the people that like to be scared to watch horror films. It's for them. Yeah.
And in terms of being a horror film, it's a very light horror film because
it has horrific moments.
Yeah, it's more psychological on the horror than it is doing just jump scares and here's a monster that's chasing you and stuff like that. But yeah, I absolutely loved the marketing for this one too when it was first coming, because it just kept doing like the little flashes of scenes, cut to black, flash of a scene, cut to black, scene, cut to black. And then
that's
just
how you make a trailer.
Yeah,
that's how you make a trailer. You don't give much away. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, man. Moving on to number 3. My number 3 pick, bro, is God's Country. Listen, I don't know how many times I've talked about it on the podcast before we actually had a whole episode around it. I was pitching this film to you for the longest to watch.
I remember.
It was my number 1 film at Sundance 2022, and it's number 3 on my top 10 list, bro. Julian Higgins in his directorial debut, Thandie Newton with a terrific lead performance. Great film, man. We got a college professor that is grieving the loss of her mother, that confronts 2 hunters that's trespassing on her property in the I want to say the Alaskan wilderness. I know it was a cold location. It wasn't Alaska, right? It was Montana.
It was far north. I know that because it was basically she owned a large sum of land, and it was the 2 hunters that kept trespassing on that land, either by using her property directly or using her neighbor's property.
Yeah. So it's in a cold land. Not many people within the neighborhood. And it's just a great neo-Western that has levels to it, man. There's levels of sexism, racism, great character work by Thandie Newton. Great tense sequences. Every actor in this film is great, and all the way to its heart-stopping final shot, man. I mean, this is a film. This is cinema, man. And I cannot stress enough that this is a 5 out of 5 in my book. I love me some God's Country.
Yeah. I mean, we did an entire episode on that one. And I can say, I remember for the longest time, you're like, we're going to do an episode on it. Okay. We're going to do an episode on it. Okay. We'll do an episode.
I had to drill it into this man's head. We are going to talk about GC. Like with Pig, I tried to get this man to watch Pig in time, but he did it to a point where we couldn't talk about it on the show because we was already doing best of 2022.
Right. 21 at that point.
Oh, 21. And then you was like, oh, I got Pig on my list. You saw Pig and you didn't tell me?
Yeah, I literally watched it that week.
Oh man. Yeah.
But yeah, I that was a great one. And yeah, if you want to see what our full thoughts are on that one, we have an episode on it, a full episode.
For sure. Yeah, we do.
So my number 3 pick this was, so when it came to the top 4 for me, these movies moved around so much that I'm sure that even at the end of this, I'll still look at this and go, no, this one should have been third. This one should have been second. This one should have been first. But it's, when it comes to this, this one, Everything Everywhere All at Once is such a solid movie that does take the idea of the multiverse and runs with it in spectacular fashion. It has amazing work. There's a scene where the characters are rocks, and was literally dying of laughter in the theater during this scene. And it's great comedy, great action scenes, a fantastic plot and everything like that. There are a couple things that I still think the movie could have done a little bit better, but at the same time, I can appreciate it for what it's done and everything that it accomplished, because when it comes to being a movie about everything, it manages to bring the comedy and action in the best way possible. Literally putting everything on a bagel has to be one of my favorite lines in all of cinema for the year 2022.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a terrific film, and I like how you kind of just you kind of indirectly gave me the layup, because this is my second choice. My second best film of 2022. So heading into my choice, I agree with everything you said, man. I don't agree that there were there were some issues with the film. I think everything was in its right place. We had that discussion.
We did,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, man, I loved it, man. Jamie Lee Curtis, Michelle Yeoh, my man from Indiana Jones, the Stephanie who played the daughter. I mean, the cranky grandfather. I mean, everyone is just on point with this acting, and the different levels of the multiverse. And like you said, the everything on the bagel line. Just a great action comedy, man. This is one of those films it's a unicorn. You cannot put it in a specific space because of how unique it is and how great it is. This is the reason we go to the cinema. This is the reason we go to the movies.
The fact that you can tell just from the writing that when they were writing this movie, they were having such stupid amounts of fun with going, hey, what if we put everything on a bagel? Yeah, and everything, but no. Everything on a bagel.
All of existence on a bagel.
All of existence on a bagel.
What if we live in a world where we have hot dogs for fingers?
Right,
and, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, come on, man. Like, this is terrific cinema. A huge step up from the Farting Corpse movie, which shall be unnamed. Listen, I understand that movie's cinematic value, but come on, man.
I am still surprised that you did not find that movie as hilarious.
It was funny, but it was dumb funny. I'm like, it was kind of laughing, like, why am I watching this laughing? You know what I'm saying? But we're not here for that.
No.
I will say that, dude, just terrific film, man. I'm interested to see what the Daniels do next. And this was a ball of a time. Like my wife, when she saw the trailer for this, she was like, man, this looks a little weird. But when she came out the theater, she said, I really enjoyed that movie. You know, it makes you appreciate life, like Bardo. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. It's needless to say, my number 3 pick, your number 2 pick, it's highly one of the best movies of this year. And
absolutely,
you know, but that'll bring me to my number 2 pick. And you know, I'm a huge comic book fan, and this year had a lot of amazing comic book movies. Morbius, Black Adam, Thor: Love and Thunder. So I
over here trolling.
When I was going through my list originally, I was like, I don't know if there's going to actually be a superhero movie or a comic book movie on my list. And then going through is this one, it kept making its way up the list. And at one point, I even had it at number 1 for the year. And that is The Batman by Matt Reeves. And you talked about it earlier. This movie, as somebody that has been reading Batman comics since before I knew how to read real books, I can say that it embodies everything that I love about Batman, everything that we've needed in a Batman movie, and everything that we got in the Dark Knight trilogy, but just slightly missed when it came to the characterization of building up this character. And amazing cast, amazing cinematography, amazing costume work. This is the Batman movie that is going to be the aged, remembered one right next to the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yes, I completely agree with you there. That is no question in my mind.
Because let's say that the next movie is an absolute flop for this. I don't think it will be, but even then, this movie is still going to stand as one of the best Batman movies to have been made. Well,
let's be real. With the exception of Batman and Robin, it's hard to mess up Batman. It really is hard.
It is. You know, you did have, Batman Forever as well, but
I like that movie, but I hear you.
But yeah, it is very difficult to mess up a Batman movie. It is possible, but it is very hard. Because even when you have like a very wacky Batman, like people still love the Adam West Batman. I still love the Adam West Batman. It's a different kind of Batman. But when it comes to a serious Batman movie, this one's going to be at the top of lists to come. I don't think, I'd love to be proven wrong, but I don't think that this one's going to get toppled off of that list anytime by anything else that comes out.
Well, we'll see. The Batman 2, I mean, if they focus on the thing of making the sequel subvert the original, I think it could be, but we'll see in time.
We will definitely see.
All right, man. We've made it number 1, both of our number ones. What I got for number 1 is, man, I don't know if you'll be expecting this, to be honest. I have Tar. And this is a film directed by Todd Field, a director that's been like, he's only directed about three feature films in his career over the span of, I want to say, 12 plus years. So this is his 3rd film. Dude, this film right here, you got Cate Blanchett in the lead. She plays a composer named Lydia Tarr. She's on the verge of completing the biggest symphony of her career. She's widely revered, widely critically acclaimed, and she's about to get the biggest gig of her career. Now, this film is a very detailed fall from grace type of movie. It's an odyssey, really. It deals with themes such as cancel culture, being true to yourself, being haunted, guilt. But this is a film that demands your attention. If you give this film your attention, because it starts off very dense, like there's terminology within the classical world that you may be a little lost on, or in references made within the first 15 minutes where you're like, I don't know any of these people. All I know is Mozart and Bach, But if you focus on this movie and give it your attention, it's truly, in my mind, the best film of 2022, bro. Like it's detailed character work. Cate Blanchett is on her umpteenth championship game with a terrific lead performance. I think she's a front runner for Best Actress with this film. It's just amazing, bro. And Todd Field's careful direction, his careful unwinding script, because as the film goes on, her life does become more chaotic. Like her situation becomes more chaotic, and dominoes really do fall. I'm not even giving away the movie. The movie is about a fall from grace, but man, I love this movie, dude. Like, this is what you call cinema. You can tell a film is like legit great cinema when it's just old people in the theater. You know what I'm saying? When it's just old people in the theater, a few coughs, here and there, and you're like, yeah, I'm watching a great piece of cinema that's going under the radar, but people will catch on to it in time. Like, dude, I love this movie. This is a 5 out of 5 to me.
Yeah, I remember you bringing this one up a couple times before, and I knew that this one was going to make your list. I didn't know if it was going to be number one or not, but I knew that this one was going to be on your list because you've talked about it a couple times, and we kind of discussed even what we could pair it with to do a full episode, and I don't think we've come up with anything yet.
I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think about that. It's really unique, but I'd have to think about that. Maybe Amadeus because it deals with Mozart and it's about classical stuff, but maybe it really made me think, all right, am I going to put this over God's Country and everything everywhere all at once? Like I really thought long and hard about that, and I was like, man, this movie left the biggest impression on me. So that's how I got to that decision.
Okay. So with me and my number one pick, I talked about how Violent Night was a movie that felt like it was made for me, that somebody had picked my exact kind of movie and made it into something. And my number one pick is exactly the same. Weird, the Al Yankovic story is everything I have wanted in a movie, because when it comes to musical mockumentaries, I think it's no secret that I absolutely love them. Dewey Cox Walk Hard, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, Cell Block 84. These movies I absolutely love when you get a fake band together and make a documentary about it. And then when you take something that's actually a real band and you make a fake documentary about it, has such the same vein, because you can put all those references to Weird Al's life and things that seem insane and put it next to stuff that is actually insane and make you wonder what is real and what isn't. And as somebody that is a huge fan of Weird Al and basically knows a lot of the stupid trivia about his coming up and everything, I got to watch this and go, no, that's actually accurate. No, that's actually accurate. Yeah, that's crazy, but that's actually accurate. Oh, that thing that seems pretty sane. Yeah, that didn't happen. And it's, the comedy is right up my alley. The acting with Harry Potter and Dwight is absolutely fantastic. And
put respect on these guys' names, man.
Okay, Daniel Radcliffe and Rainn Wilson.
There you go.
Absolutely fantastic in this film, and it definitely holds up as one of the movies that I will come back and watch in the future for movies that released in 2022. And I think that's to be said of my top 3 very easily, are movies that I'll come back and I'll be revisiting in the future again and again. And yeah, that's it holds up.
That's so awesome that you put that there, though, because it's such a Brad thing to choose. I can't get mad at you for it, because that's your type of movie.
It is absolutely like, if you boil down that movie and you're like, what kind of movie will Brad like? Specifically Brad. And it's like, no, I got something. And they made it.
Yeah. I love it, man. This is why we do our top 10, dude. Like, I feel like the best way to craft your top 10 are movies that you felt were the top 10. If you play the critic in your mind and go, oh, well, this film is a great critically acclaimed film, well, that's fine. But there are critically acclaimed films out there that I don't like, and
like, I will say, if this was coming down to the top 10 movies of the year, God's Country would have been on that list. Everything All at Once might have been number 1 on my list. It came down to what were our feelings for the top 10 movies. And yeah, you're not going to agree with both of our lists. Our lists are even completely different. We could easily do the very boring top 10 movies of the year, and we'd both just be like, number 1, this, number 2, this.
My man said, this is Sparta. This is DFV. You know what I'm saying? We love the good and the bad. You know what I mean? Like it's different on this side of the game. All All right, man. I think we got time for a few honorable mentions. You got any honorable mentions on your list?
I do. So there is first off, one movie that I really wanted to make it onto my list because it was just a lot of fun and everything, but it just kept getting bumped off was The Adam Project, the Netflix movie featuring Ryan Reynolds and
Told me about that.
Mark Ruffalo. It's a very good movie with an interesting concept. It has a lot of good comedy with it. Ryan Reynolds, is at his highest with that one, with his very, I hate seeing that he's pretty much devolved to like just Deadpool in all movies, but he does very well with that kind of role. And this movie is no exception. And I really wanted it on my list because it does have an interesting plot. It's something that isn't done very often with time travel movies in that kind of way. And yeah.
Nice. Okay. I mean, if you don't mind, I'm gonna just go down the list just to get them out.
Go for it.
Okay. I have a great independent horror film that I also saw at Sundance 2022 called Resurrection. Directed by Andrew Siemens. Rebecca Hall is in the lead role. Great film, man. A great film with a great psychological horror premise. Tim Roth plays a great villain in this film. I strongly recommend that. Avatar: The Way of Water. I'm kind of sad it didn't make my top 10, but there was just like those 10 films I just had to put over it though. Terrific cinematography. Great sequel. I think it bests the first film in many ways. I saw it a second time in Dolby 3D. Changed my life. It was just beautiful, man. It was beautiful. It was one of the very few times where motion smoothing looked so good. I love Avatar: Way of Water. I got Glass Onion, which is basically Knives Out 2. Terrific sequel. I kind of like it for the same reason I like Avatar 2. It subverts the original, builds on what made the original so great. And Rian Johnson has just like I feel like he's at home. Well, he's at home with whatever he does. I love Last Jedi. I don't care what none of y'all say. I accept no Rian Johnson slander on this side of the game. I feel like he's at home with the whodunits, and it's great to see him like tackle that genre in new ways. The Woman King. Great action film. If you haven't seen it already, see it. Great performances from the whole cast. Viola Davis, John Boyega, Lashana Lynch. I hope I'm saying her name right. If I'm not, forgive me. Great cast. I got Marcel, the Shell with Shoes On. It's a little independent animated film released by A24. Jenny Slate is great in the lead vocal performance. Check that out. Nice, cute movie.
I keep hearing about it, and I saw the trailer, and I was like, I don't know about this one. But yeah, it's every once in a while somebody else brings it up, and it's like, okay, it's slowly making its way onto the list.
It's a very, I think you would like it. You will find a lot of humor in it.
Okay.
It's a nice quirky film. I got Elvis, a film I did not expect to like, but very much thoroughly enjoyed. Elvis is good, man. Elvis is a good movie, even though it kind of I want to say not glides, but it kind of like vaguely goes over the fact that not all his stuff was original and taken and stolen.
It glosses over a lot of stuff.
Glosses. It glosses over. Thank you. It's such a fantastic over the top dedication to Elvis, dude. Like Baz Luhrmann, this is what he does. He makes great flashy films like this and Romeo and Juliet and Moulin Rouge. And I just thought it was just great directing. And I like Tom Hanks in it. A lot of people didn't, but I thought he was great. Bones and All. Now, we're going to talk about this on a future episode and Glass Onion on another one, too. But I think this is a great Lovers on the Run cannibalistic love story, bro. Like, I enjoyed this one. This one also has some great acting. Great tense moments, great gory moments too. And I don't know, man. I thought it was a nice little weird film. I enjoyed it. Now I got Top Gun Maverick on my honorable mention. Pretty much same things you said. I got Wakanda Forever. I feel like that deserves an honorable mention. That's one of the Marvel. Go ahead.
Yeah, that one is also on my honorable mentions list. It needs to be. It basically was one of the first movies to take its star, knowing that it no longer had its main person, and try and continue on without them, and
Yeah.
did it in fantastic fashion.
Yeah, I feel like it's a everything you just said. It's a nice exploration of grief, and loss. And it's one of the best Marvel films post Endgame. Because I've been telling you, man, I've been a little marveled out lately. And I think this and Eternals and Shang-Chi kind of brought me back a little bit, just a little bit. Um, yeah, and I also got a film called Decision to Leave. Now, this is a Park Chan-wook film. Now, this is like a foreign drama about a man that's investigating a woman whose husband mysteriously died by falling off a cliff. And the more he investigates, the more he finds out interesting things about the woman, and also secretly falls in love with her. Great film, man. It takes a few surprising turns and twists, and I think it's a very nice mystery drama.
Okay. Yeah, for the rest of my list, I have, first off, Wakanda Forever and Avatar are both on there for me as well. It absolutely needs to be said. Check those out. And also on my list, I have Bubble, the animated movie from Netflix. It's just a gorgeous movie. The plot might not be there, but when it comes to the animation and the characters and everything like that, it's a very fun movie. If you're a fan of anime or you're looking for something that's a little bit more like family kind of movie night to watch, it's a fun one. That's for sure. Then 892. It needs to be said. That movie is.
I forgot about 892.
Yeah, that movie was. It bounced on my list a lot when I was creating it, and it sadly just got brought down to the honorable mentions. But that does not mean that this movie isn't spectacular by any means. It is so great with John Boyega as the lead, and the tension with it, the acting in it. It's absolutely fantastic. I think the only downside that movie has is they ruined the perfect title.
Yeah, I don't know how you go from 892 to Breaking, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my list of the honorable mentions.
Awesome. All right, y'all. Let us know in the comments below what your top 10 or top 15 or whatever 2022 are. And we can start engaging conversation. Let us know what you think about our list as well. What you agree with, what you don't agree with. If you got the same ranking as me or as Brad. And let us know, man. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to watch movies in the upcoming new year of 2023. And check out our written reviews on 8bitwaffles.com. And that's it, man. You know where to follow us on the socials after this. And take care.